It was a magnificent victory for Bristol City on Easter Monday in a game that ultimately sealed Ian Foster's fate as Plymouth Argyle manager. Here is how Bristol City claimed all 3 points at home park in a rare trip down the M5. From a Bristol City perspective, there were no changes made from the victory on Good Friday against Leicester, so we stuck with the same 5 at the back formation, with Hayden Roberts filling in that left centre-back position, which he did so well at Derby last season, playing in that role under Paul Warne with. For Plymouth, they switched back to a 4-3-3 in a bit of a last-ditch hope for Ian Foster to get a result. Ultimately, the return of Ballymumba into the side didn't really help too much, as Plymouth were quite lacklustre going forward, especially in the second half. Plymouth started on the front foot for the opening 20-odd minutes of the game and won about 6 corners, it felt like, in the opening 10 minutes of the game, but ultimately didn't really test Max O'Leary in the Bristol City goal, which will be the main concern from a Plymouth Argyle perspective, and probably the best thing you could hear from a Bristol perspective. If you're going to an away game where the opposition are going to go at you from a attacking perspective and are going to put you under pressure, the best thing you could get out of that is not limit them to absolutely nothing. And Plymouth literally just ran out of steam after that, and Bristol City grew into the game a lot more. For the last about 20 minutes of the first half, Bristol City really took control of the game and limited Argyle to absolutely nothing. And if you consider the fact that Argyle didn't really create much in the opening 20 minutes of the game, where they were probably on top, Bristol City did a really good job of containing the likes of Morgan Whittaker, Ryan Hardy, Ballymumba, and literally limiting them to absolutely nothing at home park, which was a really impressive feat. Towards the back end of the first half, really took control of possession, started to dictate things at our own tempo, and that tempo wasn't slow, it wasn't lethargic, it wasn't pedestrian at all. It was trying to move the ball at energy, trying to move the ball with dynamism, using the likes of Jason Knight, Scott Twine picking little holes in the middle of the park, and him having a really good opportunity, which is denied quite well by Michael Cooper after a long ball by Matty James. So we really started to move the ball at energy, started to move the ball with pace, which I couldn't have said towards the back end of the international as we headed into the international break last month, where it was really pedant, it was really pedestrian, it was really slow, and ultimately we were not going to break down any team's defences doing that. There was a subtle change of system in the first half, about 20 minutes in, as mentioned by Liam Manning in his post-match interview with the club. He said he changed from a 5 to a 4, and that ultimately led to correlated us having a lot more control in the game. And that can't be a coincidence. Hayden Roberts started left centre-back, he moved up the pitch, and that allowed us to have a lot more room in the middle. It felt like automatically there's a lot more space for the likes of Matty James, likes of Jason Knight, Scott Twine to operate in, and that led to us having a lot more control within the game. And again, once you do that and keep the ball like we do, which is quite well, Bristol City are going to have a lot more space, and a lot more attacking impetus, but also going to limit Plymouth to absolutely nothing. And that, when we face a confidence shot side, is always a massive thing. Liam Manning absolutely goes for it at half-time, and that is one thing you can't discredit it for. He changes it completely, makes a triple substitution. Tommy Conway comes off for Nahki Wells, Mark Sykes comes in place for Hayden Roberts, and Matty James goes out for the incoming Joe Williams. That changes our system a little bit, and as I said earlier, we changed to a 4 at the back in the middle of the game, in the middle of the first half, and allowing Sykes to come on just gives us that little bit more of a freedom. And obviously Mark Sykes is more comfortable playing up the pitch than he is in a defensive position. So yes, that did make sense once you thought about it. But at that point, when we were just building momentum and looking like the better side on the ascendancy, it did look a little bit weird. Ultimately, though, that decision absolutely paid off for Liam Manning, and massive credit has to be given to him for that. After that, we again just completely asserted control on Plymouth, gave them absolutely nothing. They were limited to little set pieces, rare counter-attacks, and Bristol City completely controlled the game, did not allow Plymouth anything going forward. And then the goal eventually just comes after the build-up of pressure. It was just building. It felt like it was coming in Bristol City. Absolutely brilliant. Nahki Wells in the 57th minute after a shot from Manis Mehmeti, actually after a brilliant run from Jason Knight in the middle of the park, winning the ball in the 50-50, runs up the pitch, showing his dynamism, showing his energy, showing what he can actually do in that number 8 position, but he's not got the pressure of scoring goals running in from deep. Gets the ball out to Anis Mehmeti in a dangerous position. Anis Mehmeti cuts inside, and unlike against Leicester, didn't really shoot too many times coming in on his right foot. Does like to come in on his right foot, but instead tried to tee it off in the game against Leicester. Actually has a shot, forces a good save out of Michael Cooper, really good save from the Plymouth keeper. And then Mark Sykes comes in, and then Michael Cooper makes another really good save on the floor, but it's just really unlucky, and the ball just stays in that 6-yard box, and Nahki Wells is there to rise above Ashley Phillips, the Plymouth centre-back. And yeah, it's really poor from a Plymouth Argyle perspective. We just let that happen. But yeah, Bristol City, a build-up of pressure, a build-up of really what we can do on possession. And yeah, a fantastic goal. Just before our goal, actually, on 54, Alfie Devine is booked for Argyle. And after that, there is obviously you can see the heads are gone for Argyle. They don't look like they're coming back into this game. They try and insert some sort of control unless they try to move the ball, but it's all very pedestrian, all very slow, and you can see why Ian Foster's been sacked. It was very, very poor. And then Alfie Devine just goes in, I think, on Naki Wells, and it's a second yellow card. It's really poor. That comes in the 78th minute from a Plymouth Argyle perspective. And when they just needed that final push to go and get sent off, especially when you're a number 10 and quite influential in the attacking side of things, is not ideal, and a major reason why Plymouth just didn't create anything for the final 10 or so minutes in stoppage time, and put Bristol City under little to no pressure. Someone who did really impress me throughout the game was Scott Twine, and he got subbed off on 82. He did come off with an injury, but he was walking fine, and I don't think he needed any medical assistance. So hopefully he's absolutely fine, and given the fact that we've got basically a week since the trip to Stadium of Light, hopefully he's absolutely fine, because he was absolutely brilliant, I thought. Didn't really do too much when he got on the ball, but won a lot of fouls, but his positional awareness is just a different level. You can see the difference when Jason Knight is playing in the 10 and when compared to when Scott Twine is playing in the 10. They are completely different levels. Scott Twine picks little pockets of space that are just completely, no one in our squad can pick up those little pockets of space, and that then leaves space for the likes of Mark Syke when he came on, and the likes of Anis Mehmeti to go and show what they're all about, because we have got quality in our attacking lineup. And a player like Scott Twine, if he's not involved all the time, will certainly be indirectly involved in giving space to others. In Plymouth, it felt like they honed in on Scott Twine, which then created space for the likes of Mehmeti and Sykes. And once Twine went off, it just felt a little bit flatter, and maybe Bristol City couldn't quite create what we should have probably done against 10 men. Similar to Leicester, Bristol City really see the game out quite comfortably. Take the ball to the corner, win set pieces, win fouls, win corners, take our time over it, really streetwise. And that's something that's been carried on from the Nigel Pearson era, really. I don't keep mentioning it, but you know what I mean. It's really streetwise team, and the likes of Joe Williams, Andy King, and his experience, the likes of Zach Vine and Rob Dickey really helped with that. Naki Wells up top, this kind of spine of experience when we were trying to see the game out yesterday. Really good, and really good to see that. And didn't really panic, didn't look like we were going to allow Argyle too much. I think they had a corner right at the end, but that was about it. And Bristol City really comfortable and preserved that clean sheet and got the 1-0 win at home park yesterday. So yeah, generally a really good win. Back-to-back wins, back-to-back clean sheets, back-to-back 1-0s as well. Really impressive against Leicester and the calibre of opposition. Yeah, we got a bit lucky in the game, but look, you're going to be lucky when you face sides like Leicester, and you're going to have to ride your luck. Yesterday was a lot more controlled, maybe not reflective on the scoreline, but a lot more, just a lot better in terms of asserting control on the side. But yes, confident shot. Yes, the manager's just been sacked afterwards. But it's really good to see Bristol City's side go away from home, assert dominance, assert control, really show what we're all about in possession. And yeah, the spaces opened up, and Bristol City ultimately took advantage of them. And with a bit of bravery from our manager, it all ultimately ended in a nice 1-0 win. Let me know your thoughts on Bristol City's 1-0 win at home park yesterday in the comment section down below. But I will leave you there. This was the match review. Bristol City's 1-0 win at Plymouth yesterday. And yeah, Ian Foster has been sacked as Argyle manager. So let me know your thoughts on that as well. Plymouth, I think, 21st in the league, which is a real worry for them boys at home park. Thank you very much for watching. Keep safe, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.